comes naturally. 1, 2. Oh. 1, 2. 2. I love doing that.
What time is it?
1 minute to 40 past.
Good to be prepared, right?
There's some seats at the front if you're looking. Come closer. Here is Matteo Collina to help us out.
Hey, do you have the USB stick by any chance?
Yes.
Good.
Awesome. all worked out. 10 seconds before the thing.
Yeah, as always.
You learn nothing.
Other than that, we can get away with it.
Yeah, exactly. Ah, a lot of people. Awesome.
Plenty of seats up the front. And a couple nestled in over the side over there.
Are you helping out, Matteo? You're not in the panel or something?
I just finished the panel.
Ah, okay.
I ran from the panel from here.
All right.
How was it?
Nice, we had fun.
Good.
Wow.
And here's James Snell. James, are you going to be helping as well?
Yes, of
So,
course.
Amazing.
I guess we can leave. Then.
Yeah. I don't think we're really... we just need someone to press a button here. And then
How many near from us to take to press the button? 4.
wow. I guess you're going to have to kind of splice yourselves in. Yeah, it's sort of keep them coming. There is room. You just got to find it. That's your first exercise.
Wait, so they don't have the exercise slides in there, right?
Huh?
They don't have. How do they see the exercise?
On the thing, on the screen.
Oh, so we just just click through them up here.
Just go through, and then we might have to explain some things to like get it moving.
Okay.
But yeah, and there's one bit where they download a piece of code from Gist.
But,
Remember that bit? Bitly?
But then they don't have to be in the same exercise all the time.
There are some seats up front.
Yeah,
Here still.
I think so.
Does that work?
Well, we're going to parallelize the installing of Docker and stuff, right? We should start that. Let's do the Docker thing while people are coming in.
Yeah.
So, hey everyone. This is Matthias Booz.
Hey, and this is David Mark Clements.
Hey. And this is the Clinic Workshop. We also have our beautiful assistants, Matteo Collina and James Snell. They'll be assisting us. So if you have any problems, like get someone's attention, any one of these one's attention, not just the person next to you. Well, you could help the person next to you, but if you need help from us, get our attention. And
yeah. So this is the Clinic Workshop. It's a workshop where you learn to profile async activity. There's some. Is that who's in the front?
yeah, there's a he's just. It's
it's just a person. All right. So there's some prep work. I guess we just get started to make things easier.
Yeah. So has everyone got Node 10 installed?
Does everybody have Node installed in general?
Does everyone know what Node is? If you haven't got Node 10 installed, you can use NVM, look it up, nvm.sh, to switch between versions of Node. It's the easiest way. Do not use Brew to install Node. Please, if you've installed Node with Brew, please go and look up nvm.sh and install it that way. So that's the first task, and just go ahead. If you've not done that, go ahead and start now, because you're going to need to catch up.
Yep.
Yeah.
The next thing is we're going to be, the workshop is about profiling async activity, and the exercises basically evolve around a database. So we're going to need you to set up a Mongo database, and we have it all set up in a nice little Docker container. Does anybody in here do not know what Docker is? And
So everyone knows what Docker is. Amazing. Does everyone have Docker installed? Some people do not have Docker installed. Good. So go ahead. Go on Google and type install Docker, and get Docker installed while we're going. You might want to jot this down because we are going to need to move to the next slide. We're moving fast because we only have an hour to do this. So get prepared for some intensity. If anyone needs any help, just get one of these guys' attention, and they'll come over and help you. If you need to know how to install Docker, if you need help with, if you can't get Docker installed for whatever reason, call them over.
We need to pull this image, I guess, right?
Yes, so once you have Docker, or if you already have Docker, run this command, docker pull Macintosh.
That's my username.
That's Macintosh there, /npm-in-mongo. And this is essentially a container that runs Mongo that has npm data in it. If you want to take a shortcut, Matteo has a USB stick that you can get this from, and he'll tell you how to set that up. So first person to shout, Matteo, I love you. There you go. Now I'm jealous. So if you want a shortcut and you want to get there quicker, and you really want to get through this workshop, there you go. There you go.
So everybody understood that you have to get Docker and you have to get this container, right? Awesome.
And then copy that command down, even if you're not going to run it straight away. Docker run -it-p 271017, et cetera, et cetera. OK, has everyone copied this down at least, these two commands? Please copy it down now, so we can move. We're going to give it 10 more seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the other thing is, once you have that, write this command down as well. This is, what is this?
I just got it, I can see from here. So we don't need this. That's in the Docker container.
No. Do you need to copy it down?
That's in the Docker container, so we don't need that one. That's just to build the Docker container.
OK.
All the data is in there.
Do we need to do the npx command?
No.
OK.
You got it?
Cool.
All right. So everybody is hopefully installing that container now. We'll probably spend the next hour doing that.
Yep.
So that's pretty fun. Basically, that container contains a bunch of npm data. It's not really that important, but the important thing is that it contains data that we can run in a database that we can use to do async activity against, and we can start profiling that. So it's just to run our things. And to profile these this data and different applications and exercises we'll get to in a second, we're going to use something called Clinic. Has anybody heard of Clinic before? Clinic toolchain?
1, 2. Almost everyone, it seems.
Yeah.
This is good. It's the right crowd.
Awesome. So just if you don't know it, it's just an open source set of tools aimed at helping you find bottlenecks and performance things. And it has a bunch of different things, both for like analyzing how fast your code runs, finding problems in your code, and also profiling async activity, which is the theme of today. And we have a website also. It's clinicjs.org.
It's got tutorials on it and stuff like that. So
if you're running out of things to remember, that's another one.
You could just load that up now, have that there. OK. clinicjs.org. All right, should we go to the next one?
Yeah, let's go to the next one. So you're hopefully all installing the Docker container. We also need to install the Clinic tool. That one is a little bit easier. So if you have Node installed, you have npm. And it's a command line tool. So to install that, you run npm install -g clinic. And once that's finished, you can just check that it installed correctly by just running clinic -help. So if you want to do that now, that would be really nice also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Pretend that didn't happen.
That's basically the stuff that's in the Docker container. So that's why we made that one.
OK, has everyone run this command? Who wants to run it? Has anyone not run this command who needs a little bit more time to write the command down? Good. That's cool. As long as you've got the command, you can press up, can't you, if it fails? You should now have Clinic installed. Yay!
So while that's installing, we can talk a little bit about this Clinic flow, I guess.
Go for it, yeah.
Again, we only have an hour, so we probably already spent some minutes.
Yeah.
So basically, we'll talk a little bit about what we call the clinic flow, basically how you use the clinic tool to profile and find problems and do profile async activity in general. So basically, I don't know how many people in here have ever had performance issues in your code, whether it being like CPU or async stuff, but I've had a lot. It's one of the most fun things about Node. It's really easy to get up and running, and it's also really easy to make a bunch of problems. So it's a really powerful tool. And basically, learning how to solve performance problems is a very useful thing. And if you've never done it, it basically involves poking things a lot and see what happens. Skills include lock. It's a really important skill in performance tooling. Profiling, knowing how to profile, knowing how to benchmark, and also knowing which tool to use. So Clinic is a really good tool to help with that. This Matteo, you made this diagram, right?
I made that slide.
This is like,
Matteo, why don't you just, shall we get Matteo to
yeah,
explain
you
it?
explain it real quick?
You explain it.
Hi everyone, I'm Matteo. So when solving a performance issue, you have something in your code that it's causing some problems, but it's in production, right? So basically, you start doing some APM. You start setting some application performance monitoring on your system to actually know more of what is causing the problem. Having angry users angry is not really helpful. They are angry on Twitter. This is slow. It's not working well. It's not really helpful. So what you do is that first thing is you want to reproduce that problem. That's the hardest step of all. If you can't reproduce the problem, it will be extremely hard to fix. So invest the time in actually reproducing the problem in a staging environment or something like that. After you have done that, you can get some more diagnostic data out of your APM tools, and which is a little bit more clean, so you might isolate a little bit more the area of the code that is causing problems. If you're lucky, you can just fix it. Hey, happy, finished, bye. More often than not, I wouldn't have a clue, so I would say, I need to go back into my my little MacBook and start crunching code and stuff. So I have it running on my MacBook. You have it running on your MacBook, on your laptop. And then you need to get some more, you can get some more data, right? Some more diagnostics data. Now, that used to look like the metrics. You can see a lot of things in the metrics by seeing it moving around, but it's not really something that is really usable for people. And in fact, in order to fix those problems, I tend to take long walk with my dog. So, you walking the dog, and I know Dave has another story.
I like to take long showers. There's a mental picture for you.
So, just saying. So because of that, and after you fix this, you get a performant application out of it. Now, the key part here is that we have been doing this for years now. And at some point we said, well, maybe we should just make a tool to make this simpler. And this is why Clinic was born. And this is why we built a Node Clinic, more or less to fix these two steps over there.
All right.
Okay.
Should we continue?
Yeah, let's just do a status check. Yeah. How's everyone doing? Has everyone got Docker installed? Is anyone struggling getting Docker installed? You've downloaded Docker. Have you got it?
Downloading.
Oh, it's downloading. Great. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. And has everyone got Clinic installed? Hooray! An hour workshop with the Wi-Fi. Cool. Yep. Classic. Has anyone actually been able to install anything? Okay.
Oh, that's pretty
All right. Cool. Yep. So we'll keep on talking.
Sure.
This is the right way to do it. I'm glad we put this at the beginning.
Yeah. So,
if anyone needs help, by the way, just remember these guys are here.
guess worst case we can put the Clinic tool on the thumb drive also. I don't know.
Could we put Clinic on the thumb drive?
It's not really Clinic. I think Docker's the real.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How many people are downloading Docker?
The image is in here. Nobody's asking.
Just a few.
Please repeat it again.
So yeah, so Matteo has the image you need. If you have the Docker client and just need the image, you can get it from Matteo. That probably helps not destroying the Wi-Fi.
Say again?
It's not Clinic who is slow. It's the Mongo image who is slow.
Yes, that's on the USB drive.
That's
that Matteo
what, yeah.
has.
So Matteo
This
has.
is why I said first person to say I love you, Matteo wants to get ahead.
So
That is the key. Matteo is the key to getting through this workshop. Yeah. If we had another USB stick,
So,
if only.
so basically, Matteo has the thing. Matteo, you just keep going
Before we had
around,
2 hours.
spreading
I have one.
the image. So while that's happening, we'll just talk a little bit about this. So basically, when you're doing any kind of performance, it's all about establishing baselines. So baselines mean, you have a thing, a server, you need to know how fast it is. So you need a benchmark, basically. And if you don't know what a benchmark is, it's basically just a small reproducible program that gives you some sort of number of how fast is this thing. And this number might not mean too much. Like, when we're talking about servers, we're talking about requests per second. But what is a good amount of requests per second? It depends on what we're doing. So we need a baseline where we know we have an app, we get a number out.
One per row, Matteo, to start with, because then you can at least pair people up.
All about making it uniform.
Yeah.
So if you're doing any kind of node, the simplest of all baseline when you're doing any kind of HTTP is just a hello world server. And it's just a server that returns hello world, because this is like the most simple of all servers we can make in general. So how can we find out how fast an hello server can go? So basically, we can write it, and then we can run it, and then we can open a browser and hit Command R a bunch of times, and then see how fast it feels. This is like how a lot of us do it. It might seem fast, but it's not very scientific, right? It's like too many feelings involved in that. Too many feelings is not good for this kind of process. So instead, it's much better if we use a suite of benchmarking tools to get a more, get a number out of it. And a benchmarking tool is just something that will hit your server with a bunch of requests and will tell you how many requests it did in that interval.
Another thing to
There's
install.
another thing to dust the network with. So this one's fun. So basically, the tool we tend to use is something called autocannon, and it's just a tool that can bombard your server with a bunch of requests. So now everybody join us in this Wi-Fi hitting experience and install autocannon.
npm install -g autocannon. Has anyone heard of Apache Bench before? AB? Yeah? Okay, has anyone heard of WRK? WRK2? One?
That's
Yes?
a bunch.
Yeah, there's a whole. So the autocannon is along this line of tools. It's about saturating a server, putting it under pressure, and exposing the kind of things that you're going to hopefully expose under high traffic in production.
So actually, my favorite feature in autocannon by far is the fact that it's on npm, because when it's on npm, it means we can add it to our dev dependencies and basically ship it really easily with our tools. It's not that much different from Apache Bench or all the other ones, except this, it's really
It doesn't
nice.
need to be compiled.
It doesn't need to be compiled, and it's very easy to bundle it up and ship it with your app. So it means it's
And it
very-
works on Windows.
And it works on Windows.
And the others are pretty hard to get.
And so did anybody get autocannon installed?
Yeah.
All right. So if you got autocannon installed, try writing a hello world server.
Should we go back to that
Yeah.
if you want to copy it?
So hello world, again, is just a server that returns hello world. You can put your own language here if you want to mix it up.
Just say Guten Tag, whatever world is.
Welt. And then try spinning it and try running autocannon against it and see how fast it is.
This is also a nice test. It's like, how fast can I write a hello world HTTP server?
I can hear typing. It's pretty.
Yeah, I like
cool.
I like that. I like when people are like, let's type this.
Type it real fast.
We're hackers now.
Yeah. Let's all DDoS this website now.
I found an ATM machine in my hotel that's running Windows XP. Just thought that was interesting.
Well, it's interesting by itself. Does anybody need any help?
Yeah. What do you need? You want to see the Hello World server? Yeah.
There you go.
Has anyone been able to successfully install the Mongo container? Mongo image?
Oh, there we go.
It's moving
Getting there.
forward.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
moving forward.
Spreading out.
This is good. We're on track.
Well, how much?
No, because we started at 22. We've got 40 minutes. Yeah.
And 10 minutes more, I think. It's like until 5:50.
Is it till 5:50?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Oh, we've got 50 minutes. Things are looking up.
Has anybody successfully run autocannon against the Hello server? There you go, overachievers. That's awesome.
Gotta love the overachievers. Have you heard of Nearform? We're hiring.
Should we go to the next one? in case they have something to do? What do you think?
Well, I think that has everyone copied the Hello World server? Does anyone still need to see that? Was that because you needed Mateo, or was it because you needed to see the server?
All right.
Okay. We're going to give you 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
5, 4,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
All right.
Go ahead. Oh, I got it.
You'll click. Cool.
Okay. So as everyone, now you've got the HTTP server, you know how to start a Node server, right? Node app.js or whatever. Then in another terminal, run autocannon localhost 3000 or whatever port you chose. Everyone been able to do that? Did you get some results? Did they look kind of like these?
Basically, really fast. So
Was it a lot less? Was it a lot higher? Cool. Okay. Cool. All right. Great. Perfect. So everyone was exactly the same. Does it? Okay. Let me ask you a question, and someone please answer. Does it matter if it was different on your laptop to the results that we get? No.
exactly.
No.
There you go.
34 keys.
Yeah,
Cool,
that sounds
yeah.
about right, right? So it's a lot. So it's just a number. It's what we call a baseline. It's just like, this is probably what it means on your computer to go really fast because the server's not doing much.
And this is why we call it establishing a baseline, because it's all relative to your machine and your environment. And if you're running Slack, if you're running Spotify, if you're running anything that uses Electron, really, those numbers you're going to get noise. So at certain points, not all the time, it's fine to start off rough, but at certain times, you actually need to shut everything down, including Docker.
Just buy more computers.
Yeah.
Right. So we know this. Awesome. So Clinic has this tool called Doctor. There's somebody. You have a question?
James, you got a customer? Oh, no.
What, sorry? Right, we just gotta trust that. I mean, as long as we use autocannon in general, it might be a bottleneck, but it's probably not.
Autocannon is measurably faster than Apache Bench, if that helps.
So yeah, so
It's written in JavaScript, but it's written in a very, very performant way by our own Matteo Colino right here. So if you want to go into a deep discussion as to why it's faster, he's right there.
also that, and also you can use anything you want. It's
Yeah, if you want to use
totally
Apache
allowed.
Bench to get your baseline
It's
or
in-
WRK.
It's
Or,
in the browser. Just click a lot. That's
Yeah.
totally cool. So Clinic, if you got Clinic installed, Clinic is a tool that can help us. Instead of just looking at these numbers, it can kind of help us profile these programs. So it has this. It has a bunch of sub commands. If you run help, it'll list all of them out. But one of the really cool ones is one called Doctor, which is just one where you can give it a node server, spin it up, and it'll like a doctor. It'll try to tell you what's wrong with it. It's a kind of negative program, and it never tells you what's right about it.
No.
So, that's just the world how it is, I guess.
yeah.
So if you take your Hello World server, try running it with Clinic. So you basically just the same way you ran it before, where you just put Clinic Doctor and then this -- argument in front and a space, and then again in another terminal run autocannon against it.
So the idea here is that we want to generate load on the server. We don't care about the number in this case that it gives us, but we want to generate load so that we can
Get data.
and then analyze that data, which is what Clinic Doctor is going to do for us.
So basically, Clinic hooks into your program, adds a bunch of hooks to a bunch of data, tries to analyze that data coming out, and giving you a profile of what's happening with your program. After running autocannon, you have to then Control-C the Doctor, and it'll open a UI.
Does anyone still need this USB stick with the image on? You do?
Awesome. Is anybody running Clinic Doctor right now?
Has anyone got the results up
There
yet?
you go.
Should we go to the next? Do you still need to copy this down? We all good?
Awesome. So you'll get a dark-looking picture that looks kind of like this.
It'll look better on your laptop, hopefully.
It'll look better on your laptop, hopefully. So it's basically just a bunch of graphs that tells you how the program is, and then at the bottom, it'll try to come with a recommendation on how to improve it. It should most likely, unless you're running like 5,000 Slack apps, say that it detected no issues, because Hello World is basically as optimal as you can be. There's no overhead, right? But the idea here being that if it could find a problem, it would tell you a problem. Has anybody gotten to this page where it said no issues?
So
Awesome.
there's no issues? Yeah.
That's great.
Because, I mean, what issues could there be, right?
Like, don't use Node, I guess.
Yeah.
Use Java, yeah. All right.
I like Visual Basic. I mean,
That's pretty good. Yeah. I started out in Visual Basic.
Pascal, Delphi.
All right. So we're almost getting to the interesting part now. You
Yeah.
have 10 minutes to do the interesting
No. We're actually doing pretty good.
Yeah,
we've
good time.
got 45 minutes yet.
So as you might have noticed, just a little bit of like optimization here. So right now, to benchmark it, we're running 2 programs. It's a little bit, you have to have 2 terminals and everything. So we have this cool flag in here called onPort --onPort, and this command line flag we can give to Clinic in general that tells it when the program we're running starts listening on a port, you can run another script. And then you can access the port it's using as the port env var. So, we should probably have. Can we load up the website here? So you can
Yeah.
Yeah.
The README?
Yeah. So basically, we can kind of combine everything down into one command. That's awesome.
Cool.
Just
What's the password?
I have it here.
Oh, yeah, it's on the thing.
Node.js 2018. We can also just open the editor. I can just show you.
Point of reference, though.
Right. So basically, what you can do is you can take your autocannon script and just put it inside your clinic doctor command as the --onPort command, and then you have everything in one command you can just run, and it gives you the results.
We'll do an editor.
Yeah. So Dave will just open up an editor. There you go. So if you run something like, there you go.
Wait, I just need to.
Nothing too controversial.
So the command would look something like
Clinic doctor -- and then let's do single links.
oh yeah, because you want to do the port, right?
Yeah, no, just do 3,000. That's fine. And then -- node hello world. So if you run something like this, you can basically put it all in one command. And what this does is that it'll detect when your hello world server or any server in general is running. And when that's listening on a port, it'll execute the onPort command that executes autocannon, that does your benchmark. And when autocannon finishes, it'll shut everything down and open the UI. So everybody try doing this now, because then we can basically do everything in one command, and it's much, much easier.
And then from this point, we're going to gain momentum.
It's all going to come together.
As long as we don't run out of time.
You just lock the doors.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. Yes, please. Yes.
What's
Sorry? It should just open in a browser automatically.
So maybe somebody.
You have to let autocannon finish its thing, and then. Do you need someone to come over?
I'll go help in a second.
No, he's cool. He's all good.
You got it?
Yeah, he's good.
All right. Did everybody get this part?
Yeah, I'm getting some thumbs up. Once you learn this pattern, you can use this over and over again with all of the tools that we have in Clinic. So this is like just understanding this concept. And just while people are kind of catching up, one other thing you can do is you can add this port variable here.
And then it'll basically detect any port you're listening on. So if you're shipping this as a script, npm script, you can just put this in, and it'll just always magically work, which is really nice for.
Yeah. So the first port that your node process opens, it will just start hitting that port with autocannon. Pretty neat. Don't forget to use single quotes though. Otherwise it tries to.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah. probably should have done something like with a % sign or something, or like a.
Yeah, I guess. Even the curly brackets.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So hopefully you're all now at this stage. So basically, Clinic Doctor is where we start our analysis always because it tries to help us tell us what's wrong with programs. So we write a benchmark, we run Clinic Doctor against it. We use the on-port thing to just kind of have it be one thing. And I'll try to tell you what's wrong. We'll get to an example in a second where we'll actually tell something is wrong. Just a quick note here. This is like, it's nothing magic. It's just programs. It won't be right always, so don't rely too much on what it says. Use your common sense waiver.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try something a little bit more complex now. So now we got to the Docker part. So hopefully the Docker image has spread out through the crowd a little bit.
Has everyone been able to run the container? Do you need to see the command to run the container?
Probably, right?
Okay, we're just going to put that up real quick. We've got some people saying yes, but some people not saying anything.
That one, yeah. So
yeah.
You got to run this docker run -it, and then you got to expose the port with the -p 27017, colon the same thing, and then -d runs it in the background, I think.
Yeah.
And then to put the name of the container. So everybody get this up and running, and you can verify that this is running by using the, if you have the Mongo command line tool, just running that and see that it connects.
Yeah, if you just literally run the command Mongo and it connects and you've successfully run the container.
Anybody having big issues with getting this running?
There was just a beard scratch there. It wasn't a raise of the hand.
Yeah, sit very still. Sit very still. You will be called out. Matteo can tell you that.
Yeah,
Matteo.
James or Matteo.
If you have the tarball, how do you run it?
Got a question at the back there. Oh.
Good thing we got the USB stick.
Yeah.
All right, so somebody got this up and running?
This is a crucial step. If you don't have this, you are lost. I cannot emphasize this. Did you say?
All right, so Matteo has the tarball.
Matteo, can you come up to the front afterwards? Yeah, okay.
Matteo.
For the next 20 minutes, keep your hands raised. You got to work for this.
Yeah, it's not a serious business,
Okay, has everyone got it? You've got it? Okay.
Awesome. All right, so I'm just
I just picked one person.
That's why you want to sit in the front. That's what
that's what happens.
Get the attention. All right, so I'll just continue.
Okay, everyone copy this. No, we're kidding. We've got a link for you.
Just go to the link.
Yeah, so if you copy this URL.
Of course, it had an O in it.
That's the letter O.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go to bit.ly 20 THH
20 TJ capital H YV.
You go to that, you'll get a gist that contains this code here. I'll just keep this on while people are typing.
Everyone got this? No, it's a very small one.
It's just a script. It just contains the server. So if you're able to load that thing, it should go to a gist. That gist contains a web server that uses our Mongo container to do one simple thing, and it's just when you do a request against it, it will load up a connector Mongo and then find the 5 latest node modules and 5 oldest node modules and just return them along with a token.
Has anyone worked with MongoDB and Node before? Well, I know you have. Anyone else? Yeah? Nodding heads.
There you go. So this server is pretty crucial because this is like the server we will use throughout. I think we're actually at this point. Once you downloaded this, you're probably done downloading for the workshop.
Yes.
I think.
Thank
we got stickers also.
the Lord.
I mean, stickers are only for people that finish the workshop, though.
Yeah.
So.
Finish downloading.
Finish downloading, right?
This is a workshop in how to download big things. We're nailing it.
So does anybody successfully get this gist and get it running? Anybody? Almost. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so if you're not used to just grabbing code like this, you might want to create a folder, create a file, copy paste the code into that file, and then in that folder, npm init, give yourself a packagation, then npm install Mongo, npm install Fastify, and then you're ready to go.
Yeah. Should probably add a package JSON, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Mongo.js. Oh,
I'm sorry.
That's a typo in there. Apologize. It's the dependencies you see up there in the top, basically, right? Just keep installing as long as it complains. Go with the flow. Did anybody successfully get the code downloaded and running? Awesome. All right, so. Yeah, it needs the compute magic. You just add that to the install line.
Shit, that one as well.
That's fine. Can you just put a line npm install line, what you need to npm install?
How do you mean?
And also new form compute magic. Just a little bit of live editing of the workshop slides. It's always good. That's how you know it's real.
Like that?
I think there's a dash in there.
Yeah.
There you go. Does it automatically? That's like a fancy thing. Whoa. Okay, that's cool.
There's the dependencies.
Did anybody get it running now? Oh yeah, so there's somebody over here. Awesome. So I'll just go to the next step while this is happening.
If anyone needs help setting that up, please just let us know. And
So first step.
you need help setting that up? Yeah. Matteo, can you, or James, can you? Mr. Mongo.
So basically, we have the server, you have it running. Exercise, really simple. Just try running autocannon against it like we did before with the hello world. Get a baseline, and then try running Docker on it. Sorry, Doctor on it. Doctor.
So this is going to be the same thing. Run autocannon localhost 3000. Once you've got your app started, autocannon localhost 3000, see how many requests per second you get. Make sense?
This is basically going to be what we're going to do. We're just going to run these programs, run these tools, look at the recommendations, see how we can improve it.
I'm just checking. That's what I was doing, checking the time. We still have about half an hour,
Awesome.
35 minutes.
Actually, I think we're pretty on track.
Yeah. OK. Does anyone need help actually getting the thing running? Because this was like one of the things. James, is there a...
I like being up here. We can just point. And,
Yeah, I know. There's a couple more people. I might just take a jog down. When I say jog, I mean slowly stroll.
Is anybody still stuck installing like the Docker dependencies or anything like that? The one down there.
Was there one over here as well?
I'll just go out and help also. Well, get to this point.
You as well? James, can you? Thank you. Yo.
Did you need help? All right, sorry, that's all good.
Cool. Yeah. Is this of the one? So you got the app running, and you got a CPU usage. No, it shouldn't be CPU usage. You probably have stuff in the background going on there.
Yeah, I do have some.
Do you have MongoDB started?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you start the process?
So if you've been able to run the autocannon against it, you probably notice that the output says it doesn't deliver that many requests per second, unless you have a super fast computer, which I'm sure some people have. So the next step is basically trying to figure out why is it slow.
And
right?
they've got the process running.
You have a question?
Yeah.
Where's the process? Can you do a curl localhost 3000?
So we're just going to do the same thing as we did before.
HTTP
Just run
localhost
clinic
3000.
doctor against it, with the same command as we did with the hello world, and see what it says. Maybe it has some recommendations.
Yes, so that's your problem. Something's happening where is it listening on the 3000? Can I see? I can't see where you have the process started.
If you're super stuck, raise your hand, and I'll come down and help
Can you show me where the Where?
Or just if you're normal stock, that's cool also.
I just ran this command like npm run doctor.
Ah.
It's basically the same thing as you were showing there, but I just made it a script command there.
And your process called start server.
No, I haven't started this over.
No, because you are starting the server here.
Yeah, because
Yeah, that should. That should work then. Can you try just starting the server? Just say. But we're trying to get a baseline. We're not trying to run Doctor. Remember, the first step is to run the baseline. So if you run that and now run autocannon in another tab.
There you go. That's awesome.
So you go back over and run. No, just run autocannon. We're just trying to get a baseline. We're not trying to analyze yet.
I can't remember. It's probably the right one.
Yeah.
If the script runs,
Yeah, that'll do it.
try running the server if you have it, the bit.ly one, and then see if it returns something. Yeah.
The latest one, right?
Yeah, sure.
Compute magic and stuff like that. Which version of the script were you running?
Yeah, that looks.
So if you run
about
do you,
right.
the bit.ly code,
Can you
if
just
you've
do
got
the
that
curl
one.
again, that curl command?
Yeah, if you just want to test that it works, just hit it in the browser and check that it actually returns some JSON. So sorry, you were saying
So
the
that is
autocannon
working,
slide?
yeah. So then the next thing with Doctor, you could run Doctor separately.
Right, it's
just
really
to see.
simple. You just put just put the localhost 3000. So of course you replace hello world here with your server, obviously.
Yes, so that might be your problem, yeah, if you already have it running.
Yeah, so if I remove this, that should be fine, right? Because it's already running.
No, you need to start, it has to instrument the process, so what you need to take out is the on-port part and then run that. So you would then run npm run Doctor and then run autocannon separately and see how that does. No, the whole thing. The whole.
Yeah, sure. One thing.
Yes. So run that instead of, npm run Doctor, and then there's the problem.
That's the code. Yeah.
It's already listening, so you already have it open somewhere. No, you already have. You need to kill the other server. Kill the
It says
server.
that the server actually returns any data.
Kill this server here.
Just run the server.
Control C here.
Just to check that.
Now,
To go to
now run Doctor there. npm run Doctor.
whatever you call the server.
Yeah, and now go and npm run test in your other where you did it before.
You just go to localhost.
You know what? I might. Okay.
Yes. Looks. Actually, there's no data in there.
And then go and kill Doctor.
Okay.
Where's Mateo? Oh, I see.
Well, what I can do is.
That should have generated,
Happy script here.
but it
kill
didn't.
all containers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are many.
Pick the latest.
Right.
49913. Yeah. Oh, what that one anyway? 4987 then.
Mongo should be.
No, it's
the
okay.
only
Just
one
pick that latest
running,
one.
right? Just the Mongo you guys.
Yeah.
have.
Okay.
This one is like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know what?
Well,
no, this
I
one.
remember it being like.
they should be. Why aren't they in order?
I don't know, my editor might be configured in that way.
It's fair.
Okay.
It's like half a gig, I think.
The other thing is, I noticed if you go back over to terminals, yeah, I noticed that this showed an error when you started profiling. So I don't know if this being open.
Well, if
I
you
don't
go
know
down,
what
just
port
gonna
it's
go to the next
listening
one.
on or what, but I don't know. It could be something to do with configuration.
3000, that's why probably it might be.
So did anybody successfully run
absolutely. That's
the
absolutely the problem.
Doctor
yeah.
one? Awesome. So
Change the port. Did you have?
so if you run it, it should detect that there's what's called an I/O issue with this program. I don't know if you run it, was that what you saw? Somebody nodding. Awesome, right? So an I/O issue is like
need to be running
basically
Node
async. Something async is wrong with this program.
Node-V?
That's what it's detecting based on its analysis. So basically, to help
Well,
debug
we'll work on it. Can you
what
do
is wrong with
Node-V?
this, we can use a tool we made called Bubbleprof.
So he's on 8.11.
It's basically a profiling tool that tries to
This stuff was
visualize
only
the
introduced
async
around
activity and help you
8.11.
find
Ideally, you need
bottlenecks.
to be on 10.
So the
So
suggestion
you can
should be
run
to run Bubbleprof against the server, and you do that by simply replacing Doctor in your previous command with Bubbleprof, and then doing exactly the same thing
Sorry.
with running autocannon, etc., etc. And when that finishes, you open up the Bubbleprof UI, which is like a visual representation of the async time spent. And maybe that gives you some clues on why it's slow. And if it's very overwhelming, you just raise your hand and somebody will come to you.
Got one here, James.
It might be a lot to take in also, which is totally fine.
Okay, so we've got people actually opening the bubbles. Is everyone seeing the beautiful bubbles? And what do they mean? Nobody knows. Say again?
Frames. So a frame is like that's we should write that down. That's a really good feedback actually. A frame is like when you have a stack trace. Every line is a frame. So it's basically just where in the program it is, I guess. It's actually hard to explain.
A frame is like a function.
Yeah, I guess that's.
A frame is a function, but the time that function was called at. That makes sense. There's a function on the stack is a frame.
So basically, if you got the Bubbleprof UI open, if you got to that point, you'll see a bunch of bubbles, and there's a link to a walkthrough. It might not make a lot of sense because it's your first time running it, but basically, each of the bubbles represent I/O time, like time spent in your program. The bigger the bubble, the more time you're spending in that area, and the line between bubbles basically represents relationship between async time spent, so like a server running a database query, and the transition between that. So to debug, why something is wrong, you might want to click on the big bubbles and inspect them and see where in the code things is happening. And the bigger the bubble, the more interesting it is in terms of optimization.
Anyone not got bubbles? I know that there must be people in here who's not got bubbles. Okay. James?
Need some help?
Thank you, James.
Is anybody still stuck installing Docker?
Wait, did I see your hand go up? You too? Okay, right.
If you need me to go back to a previous slide, let me know. I can easily go back. I have it up here, the npx command. So if you're completely stuck with the Docker, you can reproduce the here, import npm to MongoDB. Are we? So you don't need to run this if you have the Docker container. This is only if you don't have the Docker container. So if you're past this disregard, this is just to help people that are stuck with the Docker container. Did anybody get to the Bubbleprof UI? Awesome. A lot of overachievers in here. Did it make any sense? No. That's awesome. So I'll just come down. Oh. Cool. You got it? No, it's also, it's like, so basically each of these bubbles represent time spent in your program, async time. So this is the Fastify server. There's like a bunch of time being spent in there. Then there's the Mongo, a lot of time being spent in there. Basically that's what it's saying. And it's like you can click into these and it will tell you where in the program time is being spent. So if you click on these, it'll tell you it's being spent on this line, a lot of time, and it's being spent on, hard to click. And it's being spent on this line. So if you load up those lines, it'll probably tell you that it's the Mongo queries that's taking a lot of time. Dave, do you have the Docker container on your computer?
But what I was going to do is I'm going to load the one from the presentation.
Which one?
I'll load it now.
Because we can probably just show the debugging up here. start Docker. Bad response. Try again.
Still,
Oh, it's just spilling. Spilling.
you have to populate it though. I have a separate script for populating it.
Which one are you talking about?
I have like a previous iteration of this where
Okay.
and I did it on
I'm just thinking we show them clicking through and then like how you can optimize it real quick. Just like the demo we always do.
okay, I don't want to have to pull it though.
npm Mongo.
npm Mongo, yeah, but it doesn't. I don't think it's populated. Is it Docker? Oh, fuck.
Run -it -p 27 27 27 27
Oh yeah,
0
27.
017
Yeah, exactly.
colon the same thing.
Is that it?
Yeah. Cool. Then try running the server. Doesn't matter if you have no data. We can still show it. It's in the code. Cool. So we'll just go through the last part up here. See if it works for us also. Yep.
Yeah, it's not populated.
Right.
I can run a script to populate it.
If you can, if it's easy, yeah.
Hold on. Let's go find it.
Just the npx thing.
Oh, will that populate it?
Yep.
Okay, hold on.
Import npm. There we go. Ooh.
That's enough, isn't it?
Probably not, but it's fine.
See how long we can get away.
It runs for 20 seconds. So. All right, that's fine. Just run it. So we'll just go through it up here.
From now. Should I cut this off?
Yeah. But okay, cool. So we'll just do the last part up here, so everybody kind of gets. So basically, if you got to the code, you can run the server, and you can run it with Doctor, and it'll tell you to run it with Bubbleprof because they're detected an I/O issue. So we can just do that part. So just run it with Bubbleprof, basically.
Yeah, so instead of bubble.
Yeah, just go straight to that. So basically, the doctor will have told you that it detected an I/O issue with his servers, and you can use Bubbleprof to help diagnose it. So we'll just go through it up here. Dave is going to do some live debugging here.
Always with the double quotes.
B-Node, that's the new cool thing.
Whoops. Hold on.
Yeah, gotta type it again now. There we go. So, it spins up the server, does a bunch of requests towards it, probably what you did or in a similar way. And then when it's done, it should open up the UI. It also gives us a baseline of requests. So this is what the tools look like. So each of these bubbles basically represent async time spent in your program. So it might be a little bit hard to read down there, but the first bubble up here is Fastify because the server is built on the Fastify framework. So it's, obviously it's spending some async time in there. But then basically the interesting part is that the bigger the bubble is, the more async time is being spent there, meaning the more time we're spending there. So there's, and the connections between the bubbles is basically where you're calling from and where you're calling to, right? Kind of like a program, like the flow. So when you're debugging, yeah, go, you have a question? Oh, the I as an I. There you go.
Holy shit! I didn't know it did that.
I didn't know. Yeah, sorry.
You didn't know?
No, that's cool.
All right.
I don't know if it's easier though. Anyways, so basically, the bigger the bubble, the more the more we can gain out of it. So the big yellow bubble here is basically called Mongo. So obviously there's something going on with Mongo, and we can click into it, and it'll tell us, okay, the bubble is represented by two things. There's a stack here. It's line 11. If you go to line 11, that program it's basically the first query we're doing, and then then the other line here is representing that. After it's done doing that, it's doing this other bubble down here. And that's on line 13, which, if you look at the program, is the other line in our program. So basically what it's telling us is a lot of time is being spent in Mongo, and it's slow for some reason. So our program is pretty simple. It's that simple server. But if you had a 1,000-line application, it's very useful to being told this. So it's slow in the Mongo part. Can you just hold this for a second?
Yeah.
So gonna try to use Dave's computer now to see if we can make it better.
Good luck with that.
You have UI, right? So basically, these two lines are slow. So what do we do when we learned that there's a signal now that a lot of async time is being spent in Mongo. How can we deal with that? Well, if you've ever done anything with Mongo, you can connect to the Mongo database, and the database is called npm. We can see that in there, and we can try to do a query. Find sort. I think it was modified. This is like the query it's doing. Limit.
So db.modules. Modules is the collection, the Mongo collection.
Right.
And Matthias is typing out the query that's being made inside.
So this is basically just a query
application.
that's being made on the line that Bubbleprof tells us is slow. So if you run this, it runs in here also. So if you run it, you might notice it actually takes a few milliseconds to respond. If it doesn't feel very instant. So when we're debugging this, since we know it's signal in Mongo, we can run this explain function, and Mongo tells us what it's doing. So basically, it's telling us that it's doing a full collection scan when it's running this query, which is another word for saying there's no index, right? So we got a signal from our analysis that a lot of time is being spent in Mongo.
Because of the big Mongo bubble, right?
Big Mongo bubble.
Look for the big bubble. That's the takeaway.
We debug, we go in, we debug. Why is that? By using some Mongo knowledge. But if you're using Postgres or whatever you would apply your local knowledge here, we find out what the problem is. So what the problem is probably that we need an index. And in fact, if we look at other collections in here, there's another.
Oh my goodness!
There's another collection called modules index. So it's probably the same thing with an index. So maybe to fix this issue, we can just use that one instead. So basically, instead of doing it's capital index, if that's how we say it, we just try to use this one instead and see what happens.
Index your databases, yo.
Just buy bigger computers. That's that's what I say. So how do we test this now? Well, we just go back again now to. We think we fixed this. So instead,
Well, we would run autocannon and get a baseline and compare. But let's pretend that we did that.
So we just run Bubbleprof again, see what happens. So hopefully it'll be better. Oh, actually, it doesn't look that much better. Oh, that's a feature actually. So it looks kind of the same. I guess I don't know if it's.
Maybe Doctor?
Doctor.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
We want to run Doctor, not Bubble.
Let me explain this.
Right.
The reason why I need to save the moment, guys.
Yes, do it.
The reason why it looks exactly the same is because we are still doing a lot of asynchronous activity. We are calling the database.
Right.
Okay. So you will see it.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're right. You can actually.
It's all about context.
I remember it now.
Now you
I
remember.
remember it now. So basically.
You did this, not me.
So basically, if we run Doctor again, it'll tell us now that it detected no issue because we fixed it. And in fact, if we looked, do we still have? How do I make the tabs appear?
You mean like the browser tabs?
Yeah. There you go. Because basically it's over here on the right. It tells you how many requests it does per second. Because by using an index now, we're increasing the throughput. So we're still, of course, like Matteo said, we're still spending the same amount of time in Mongo, but our throughput increases because we're doing more stuff.
And Doctor tells us that basically it's not found the problem that we had before, where it detected
I/O issue.
an I/O issue. It's no longer detecting that issue.
So if you got to this part, we can actually still look at this data and see something interesting. Basically, the event loop graph is spending a lot of time in the event loop waiting for things. It has latency up here until 80 milliseconds. Do we have time for this? No?
Well, we can set some homework. So this was just about getting you up to speed with the tool and how to use it and the flow. And the flow is use autocannon to get a baseline, use Doctor to see if there's any issues with your app, follow Doctor's recommendations. There's a recommendations tab down the bottom that tells you what you can do. In this case, it's none because there's no detected issues. Then run either Clinic Bubble or Clinic Flame, as it will recommend, and then use those tools to diagnose further issues, and then follow the same pattern. Use autocannon, use Doctor.
Until you get to the no issue part.
Until you get to the no issue part. James?
It's important to note that Clinic does not tell you exactly what the problem is. It helps you isolate and find where to start looking for the specific problem, right? So we had the I/O issue. We could see it was in Mongo. We had to go into Mongo to see the exact issue from there.
Now, if we increase the amount of connections to 100 and we run Doctor again, we're going to put the process under more pressure and see if we can expose any new issues. And now we've exposed that there is an event loop delay. So we've gotten past the I/O delay, and what we've diagnosed initially was an external bottleneck. That is that the database was actually slowing us down because the connection wasn't indexed, right? So Bubble is a great way of saying this problem isn't in the node process. But now that we've solved that problem, it's actually revealed a new problem by increasing the amount of connections that we have an event loop delay. Now the homework is to run that command on this thing that you have, Clinic Doctor on, once you fix modules indexed, Clinic Doctor on port autocannon -C100 localhost 3000, and then follow the recommendations.
Well, that's simply detecting the potential garbage collection issue.
Oh yeah, that's
Perfect.
just.
Yeah.
So basically,
You want the event loop issue. That's the one you want.
Yeah.
It should give you the event loop issue, but why is it doing the GC one?
I don't know.
because it's not magic.
So the thing is, sometimes
You are on battery, very likely.
I'm on battery. So there are things, as we said, if you're running Slack or Spotify, if you're on battery like I am, it will potentially detect the wrong issue. This is using algorithms, TensorFlow, to essentially guess at what the problem is. And given a pristine environment, it's usually right. But in the real world, you'll sometimes see other things. But there is an event loop issue, no doubt.
When you're benchmarking, always plug your laptop in.
Yeah. But it'll also give you the active handles.
So,
graph as well.
so should we run the flame one? That's pretty fun.
Yeah, if we've got time. Have we got time?
I mean, we just run it.
Just run it while they're talking.
Yeah.
If you have a CPU issue and your event loop is not blocking, it's not big of a deal.
Need to increase your key repeat here.
We are actually out of time, I think.
You have 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got 10 minutes.
So when you have an I/O issue, event loop issue, it will do a recommendation for you to run this tool called Clinic Flame. If you were at me and Matteo's talk earlier, this is one of my favorite tools. It's actually something that Dave has worked on a lot. It's a flame graphing tool. They'll tell you basically why your event loop is blocking, basically where you're using a lot of CPU. And it's this really, really cool visualization. And what I love about this one is basically the key to a flame graph is find the very red spots, and then click on them, and then it'll tell you
Your
what it
exact
is.
line of code that's blocking the event loop.
So it basically tells us that this line, compute magic, is really, really slow,
Sounds suspicious.
which,
I don't know, man. Some dude with curly hair.
So basically, the flame graph is a really easy way of detecting where it's slow, and it'll tell you the line of code. And basically, since it's saying that the compute magic is slow, we can just
Now we're doing your homework for you as well.
Wouldn't be good teachers without it.
Yeah.
Just gotta VI it up.
So this here,
Yeah, just get rid of it.
so we get rid of compute magic.
That's how we make
and
things
then-
faster. Just do
Yeah,
do
removing
fewer
code.
things. Do fewer things.
Why are you sending that? It makes no sense. Get the requirements sorted out.
So if you run it again now with Doctor, like we always just go back to Doctor. That's the key here. Always go back to Doctor. Look at the recommendation. Look at the data also, not just the recommendation.
Yeah,
but the
because we
data.
could run the flame graph and see another red hotspot, but that without a context of like, have we hit the request per second that we want, or rather the improvement on the baseline that we want. So the point is, you want to really be able to set a goal. If you're getting 2 requests per second on your laptop, you might be able to say, well, I want a 500% improvement. And once you get there, just stop, because otherwise you end up going down a rabbit hole.
So you might notice now that there's no red flags here because all the data is starting to look pretty okay. Basically, there's no I/O bottlenecks that it can detect. There might be some, just if we can't detect them. Also, if we look at the request per second, we use our sanity now. It's getting 1,600 requests per second. That sounds like a good number. Before we were getting 100, right? So.
Although also, just to note, you're better off running autocannon on its own rather than wrapped in Doctor, because the profiling overhead will affect the request per second. So that's not a real number, but it is a massive improvement anyway.
So that's basically the flow. You keep running it. You look at the recommendations. You look at the bubbles to kind of like find out where in your program async time is being spent. You investigate that. Repeat.
We got 5 minutes. Any questions? Yeah.
Does this work with other JavaScript engines other than Mediator?
No, theoretically it could.
I mean, it works with Node. So anything that's Node.
So it depends specifically on the trace events mechanism within Node, which currently only works with Node with V8. So Node Chakra does not emit trace events. So.
Okay, fair enough.
Also, the flame graph is built on a different piece.
If I'm using TypeScript, will this tell me the line TypeScript?
Like a source map. I don't think we support source map.
There's no source map control.
But it's open source, so feel free to contribute then.
We would love, yeah, if the TypeScript community wants to contribute, we are all for it. There was another question.
Somebody's sending a PR for cleaning flame to get the source map support.
No way.
Yeah, somebody's done it.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's still
There you go.
for flame, it's there for Doctor. For Bubbleprof.
I missed the package. Was it just flame graph?
Oh, so it's all in Clinic. So if
Clinic,
you just
says
have,
Clinic Flame.
if you
So
just
remember
have-
where you go in Clinic Doctor and Clinic Bubble? Same exact thing, Clinic Flame, but make sure you do it with -C100.
you can always run clinic-s help, and I'll tell you the commands in there. Right. So we also have this really neat command called clinic upload. So basically, if you get a profile out, you can run clinic upload, and then
Stickers if you want.
and we got stickers also. You can run clinic upload, and it'll upload your profile to a server with a public link that you can share it to other people. So if you wanted to.
And you can ping us on Twitter if you want, and we might take a look.
So, a really, really strong pattern we've been doing internally is just whenever we do performance optimization, we'll run a Bubbleprof, a clinic, upload it, put that link in the PR. That's really useful to just be like, here was it was before, made a change, this is what it looks like now. So like super visual.
And that means
way.
that people can interact as well and make sure. And it's
So
great.
it's basically just taking that, HTML UI, it opens in the browser and it puts it up.
We also do strip out personal, like private stuff before it goes uploaded. So there's certain things that are stripped out, like paths and stuff, right? Yeah. Cool. Any more questions? Yeah.
Would it make sense to run the benchmark on a CI context?
Oh, yeah.
If you really know what you're doing, yeah, it's a tricky problem because it's all about. It's not about absolute numbers, it's all about relative numbers, right? So as long as you have a reproducible environment, CI might not be that, but if you can control that, then sure.
You need machines that you can really heavily control.
Yeah. But if you have a PR that you can compare.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, we have done some. Is Autocannon CI public? Autocannon CI.
Public, we haven't.
We have done some work in this area, but again, there's something called Autocannon CI that Matteo worked on. But it's nascent. Yeah.
Can I expect serverless workflow?
Oh, gee.
Okay, what?
Serverless.
Oh, feel free.
Yes. There is. I would like to give you a better answer than this right now. You can, if you're using the serverless framework and you're running this on your machine, yes, you can actually do it because you can wrap the serverless framework, okay? So basically, if you're using the serverless framework, yes, you can, because you can run your full system on your machine. So you can wrap that with Doctor. You will need to write something like autocannon to call your functions and stuff, but you can do it with that. If you're not using the serverless framework, and you're working for a major cloud provider and want this support, or press your cloud provider, and we can, we are in business, you see, so we can.
Yeah, Node 10, and it is an open source. It is an open source project, so we definitely welcome contributions. Anybody that's like, hey, we want this to work on our tool, or we have a new capability, come talk to us, and we can work about getting it in. It is provided as a community resource. So.
Also, if you have any performance problem, you need help with Node.js and anything, we work for this nice company called Nearform. We have a nice booth outside. Okay, so walk down there and say hi and say if you have liked this workshop or not liked this workshop, and maybe we can spend some time with you. We also offer a service. So if you have some problems with Node.js, if we want to discuss Node.js with us for some time, we offer this we call it, it's a one-to-one session, more or less. So we can talk with you for 20 minutes, going with you with what is your architecture, what problem you're facing with Node, and so on, and maybe trying to see if we can help you out.
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it?
Yeah, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you to our beautiful.
Thank you, everyone.